Do you know what SG stands for in SG1?
Do I? Well, it's SG,
Yeah.
so Stargate, but it's SGT, so Stargate Team.
Wait, I thought
And
it was
then
Stargate Some Guys 1. Is it not? Wait, you're telling me the show is Stargate 1?
Yeah, I don't know why.
I think Some Guys sounded cooler. Or Super Guys.
Some guys go through a gate.
Yeah.
One.
yeah, there you go.
What's up, everybody? It's Jet Desert Fox back with another straight out of the box, and joining me today is my fabulous friend Matt from evic.com.
Fabulous friend.
And today we're going to be looking at the P90. Now, this is a mega crossover between EMG Arms, KRYTAC, and Cybergun. Now, I've got to handle this a little bit, but it's going to be great having Matt here because Matt has, you've got all the specs, I believe.
Yes.
Like, you know pretty much this gun in and out. So
yes.
This is going to be great. I can directly get my questions answered straight from Matt, or maybe Mitch, who's off camera somewhere.
Yes.
I might warp him in through the Stargate to answer some questions, but regardless, let's get into it. The outside of the box, we've got the FN logo, we've got a schematic of the P90 on this end, and then some other warning stuff on this. Inside the box, we've got the manual, which is glued up here, and I think there's some other stuff in here. We've got our manual, there's some other literature, there's a warranty card in there, a sticker if you want to put that on your gun or on a gun case.
That's the warranty.
Service will be provided by evic.com.
Yep.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
So let's say, for whatever reason, the
Yeah.
gun breaks. You
Yeah.
just contact evic.com.
There's no need to contact KRYTAC or Cybergun. Just contact us at evic.com. We'll handle all the
Nice,
warranty.
nice. And if you're local to SoCal, I'm sure you could probably just go to the store.
Yeah,
All right,
absolutely.
awesome. I do know a little bit about this gun, so I don't need to really rely on this too much, but if you are a complete noob to Airsoft, you're definitely gonna wanna take a look at this. Just by skimming through this looks like a very nicely detailed manual. Tells you how to adjust the trigger, insert the magazine, battery installation, and most importantly, the hop-up system, how to access your hop-up. Oh, and the diagram that I always look for is how to adjust the trajectory of the hop-up. Because if you don't know what the hop-up is, you'll probably have no idea what you're adjusting.
Or you're just winding it willy-nilly until it kind of does what you want.
Yeah,
But it's nice
yeah.
to start out with.
Yeah, you've got a
Kind of
frame of
game plan,
reference.
yeah,
Inside the box, we've got, what is this piece?
So that is for the front sight post. So this is a traditional P90 rail with a pick attachment that can go on either side. Anybody who's unfamiliar with this style of Picatinny rail on top of the P90, there's a peephole sight that looks through the actual rail itself and looks through to the front sight, which is adjustable with the included tool.
Next, we have a Dean's to small Tamiya adapter.
Yes, I don't want to jumped the gun too much,
No.
but they are pre-wired to Airsoft T-plug or
Dean's, whatever you
right
want
out
to
of
call
the
it.
box.
They're interchangeable.
Yeah, if for whatever reason you haven't made the transition yet over to using Dean's batteries, there's an adapter provided for you.
Looking at the gun, we can see that it comes with a federally mandated orange tip. However, they have provided you
A legit P90 flash hider.
Yes. I don't know if it's a muzzle device or a muzzle brake or whatever they're going to call it. Yeah, so you get the correct P90 muzzle attachment, whatever the hell you want to call it.
Yep.
Sorry, we're getting too much into the minutia of it. Someone's going to correct me. Take to the comments.
Yeah.
Tell me how mad you are about me messing that up.
And in case that you didn't want to use that or you wanted to throw on some other attachment, much like all of KRYTAC's other products, this is 14mm negative threaded.
Perfect, great for immediately putting on tracer units.
Yes.
Especially if you're playing in a low light environment, such as Battle Lab here in Ontario, California. We've got another rail on the other side of the gun, and I didn't see any other rail segments that come with it.
No, there aren't, but this is a standard spacing, so replacement pick rails you can swap it either side, or you can always just purchase extras.
Next, we've got our ambidextrous charging handle, and this charging handle will reveal the hop-up, which is located under this section. I don't know what you would call that.
I mean, I've just been kind of referring to this as, like, if this is the grip, this is the thumb hole of the stock.
Okay.
So located above your thumb hole for your primary hand, right? So this is your trigger hand is where your hop-up's nested.
Okay.
And so unlike every other P90 ever, the charging handle actually does something in a very smart way. It has allowed access to the enlarged window of the hop-up unit, which if you've used any P90 before this, try opening one of the hop-up windows with gloves on, or even just a finger, and you're usually grabbing a flathead screwdriver to try to pry it open.
Where is the hop-up unit on the other one?
It is in the same place,
Okay.
but the window, you can't even get your finger in. So
Okay.
this solves all of the kind of all of the previous issues with P90s and what made them kind of like one of those things where you'd want to set it and then just not use different weight BBs or like change it up because it was such a pain.
Get a microscope or a magnifying glass or something. Okay, very
so
nice.
The fact
very
that
nice.
it's toolless now and it has a clicking rotary style hop up, so you know exactly where you want it.
Let's feel that. Let me feel the clicks. Oh yeah,
So many clicks.
that's what I want to feel. That's what I want to feel. I want to feel that rotary style hop up, and I want to feel it click into place. Because I know if it clicks, it's not going to move around on me as I'm jumping around, falling over myself, etc.
Specifically on the P90, I think it's important because it's a blind adjustment. You know, if you're adjusting an M4 or an AK or any one of the other platforms, you can kind of see where it is. Yeah. But on the P90, odds are you're going to be adjusting it, not looking at it.
Okay, so I'm on the field. I got to adjust my P90 hop up. I got to do this, and I've got to like flip it upside down. I'm effectively like, I could just get shot doing this and be like, you got me.
And we found that when we were filming and we needed to make small adjustments, I'd just take my thumb out of the thumb hole and then brace the P90 against my shoulder with the rest of my primary hand, my trigger finger hand, whatever, and then I could make the adjustments without like shifting or breaking my grip.
Very nice enhancement by KRYTAC on just this very simple feature of the gun. Okay, let's move on to the battery compartment space to access the battery.
No button.
No button. Oh, no button. Okay,
easy.
sorry.
Just slide it down.
See, I'm searching for the button, like like on the TM.
The button, another thing that just kind of made things unnecessarily inconvenient. Now, the battery compartment, as configured out of the box, size-wise, will pretty easily fit an 8.4 volt NIMH stick-type battery. The 9.6 volts are a little long, but there will be battery extension plates coming out very soon, so you can, if you wanted to run like a big 9.6, you could, or even like a larger LiPo battery. But there's plenty of room for the nunchuck style LiPo batteries in this stock.
Battery compartment space looks pretty ample. I do want to grab some batteries and just see what we can shove in there. And then I see that this looks like a quick change spring system back here. Okay.
Motor height adjustment, of course.
Easily this goes on, and that's not gonna. It's not gonna slide off if I.
We tried to like bump it off our shoulder to see if we could get it to come off, and thankfully we couldn't. I imagine someone will bless you. So.
Perfect. I'll just take that. Okay, so there is a specific battery that I brought because I had it, I've never used it, and I was hoping that it would fit perfectly. It is this Titan Power 7.4 2600 milliamp. Let's see if it'll fit. Use this toward the camera. Oh, perfect. All right, well, this is my gun and the battery I'll be using, but nice. All right, so if you are looking for a great battery just to slide straight like this, that fits in there like like it was made for this. Nice. All right, so there's the battery that you could possibly use in your P90. Okay, let's take a look at the magazine because I watched your video on the evic.com channel, and one of the things that stood out to me on the magazine is that you can actually see the BBs being loaded in and gauge like how many BBs are left in the mag.
Yeah.
All right, that is a feature that I have no idea why that's not more common in Airsoft, especially when it comes to see-through magazines like this. Like another mag that I'd love to see that feature put into is the UMP 45. It's got that clear window on the side. Like, why haven't we been using that? So another great innovation, innovation or enhancement by KRYTAC EMG to just make something more useful in your gun. Now, along with that, the magazine can also be set to 250 or 50 rounds, right?
Not 250.
Oh, okay. 200, so 200 or 50 rounds.
So this is kind of a blend between, again, traditional mid caps. They're pretty low cap. You're changing them all the time. The high caps, when they worked, held more, but despite its unique spring mechanism keeping the batteries pushed, it was still just a gravity feed system. And those were inefficient and they would break. And so we wanted a magazine that would hold, one of the largest quantities among mid caps, besides, kind of the new outliers for M4 magazines, right? But also give you the option of if you wanted a little bit more realism, because the real P90 can hold 50 rounds. And so if you were going for, realism, you could switch that very quickly. And all that is a, I mean, I can see it, but you guys won't be able to see it. But there's a follower in here that the sliding switch just limits the follower from retracting any farther.
Okay, I was wondering how they were doing that. But all right, that makes sense. So basically, there's just like a little piece that's like the spring can't go back anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And then in terms of fitment, if for whatever reason you didn't want to buy more of the best P90 magazine ever, you can use TM compatible magazines pretty easily. The only one that we noticed like slight fitment issue was the King Arms P90 based magazines are slightly different on the height of the notch at the back.
Okay, and is that a mid cap or is that a high cap?
They're mid caps.
They're mid caps.
And it's not that they didn't fit. They fit and seat and feed. They just aren't. You'll have to pull the magazine lock forward to seat it.
Okay, quite honestly, I wouldn't even recommend getting King Arms mid caps anyway. From my own personal experience, I had a King Arms Gale Ale a long time ago, and the mid caps were utter trash. So let's, I think that's it for the magazine. The one cool thing about the P90 though is like with the HK slap, the P90, I guess, slap. I mean, I don't know. What would we call that? Like, it's not so much a slap, but like a...
The FN flick.
Well, when I think of flick, I think of like this. So like maybe, I don't know, the FN spank?
The P90 push? I'm trying to come up with an alliteration.
I like P90 push.
But you're not pushing it.
Because you could push it.
Well, yeah, you could.
If you were being
What about
sneaky,
pat? Like you pat it.
Oh, there we go. The P90 pat.
P90 pat. There you go. Coined here.
Everything about the P90 is ambidextrous. The charging handle is ambidextrous. The selector switch is ambidextrous. We've got safe, single, which is denoted by a 1, and then fully automatic, which is an A. And the magazine release is also ambidextrous. Ideal gun if you are left, right-handed shooter, whatever the heck you're shooting, it's ideal for you.
Especially if you transition a lot.
One thing that I saw in your video is the adjustable trigger.
Yes.
So you can adjust the trigger to whatever pull length that you want.
Yes. Well, there are actually 2 trigger adjustments.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay, explain.
So a couple things. If you haven't fired P90 before, you may not know that the full auto setting on the P90 is a 2-stage trigger, meaning that a light pull will continue semi-automatic fire, and there's a pretty discernible wall, and then a full pull will give you full automatic.
Okay, so it's like an AUG.
Exactly. In years past, P90s kind of only had that sliding trigger shoe. Right, so like a traditional like version 2, version 3, version 6 trigger shoe, where you had a sliding trigger that would move a metal wedge in between 2 fingers that would create the circuit. Like this. So this P90 uses micro switches that are linked to the inboard MOSFET and the trigger board. What that does is it gives you a really nice, repeatable, non-arcing, super efficient trigger response. And you can do things like make adjustments without messing that engagement up. So the 2 trigger adjustments that exist on this platform, there is a hole back here in the back of the thumb stock that takes an Allen wrench. I think it's a 1.5 or 2.
Does it come with the one?
It does not.
Oh, well, that's kind of a...
if you've been playing Airsoft for 5 minutes, you've already amassed 30 Allen wrenches. Buy an optic, it'll have one. What that's going to do is adjust your trigger pull distance. Okay, so that's going to change how far you have to pull the trigger before it engages the micro switch and then activates the fire.
Okay. So you can make this just a super fast CQB gun if you want.
And then the second adjustment, I'm going to have to pop this real quick. The spring behind the trigger, you can adjust the pull weight.
Oh.
So pull distance and pull weight are both adjustable.
Okay.
And different pull weight springs will be available I think right after this video releases or soon after.
Okay.
So that and the extended magazine or the extended stock plates are all kind of coming.
Okay, well that's great. So if you are heavily into customizing your trigger and other little aspects of the gun, you have lots of options with this.
Yeah.
I want to give this a test fire now because I did not get to test fire this. And we've got the perfect battery for it apparently. We're gonna take that mag out. We know it's clear already.
Yes.
Yes. All right, so test fire.
Safety.
All right, full auto. I like the semi. I feel like there's a little bit of boing kind of going on with the full auto, but that's also because there's no BBs in this.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
But for the most part, it shoots very nice. It is very, let's see, that's pretty snappy. Yeah, that's pretty snappy. It's not anything spectacular.
Right, so.
But it's good. It's
so
good.
I think oftentimes we default to comparing things to 11.1 volt performance. Like anytime,
Yeah, I would agree
you
with
slap
that,
an
yes.
11.1 in and you hear somebody's high rate of fire, you're like, oh man, it's only going to be that fast on an 11.1. And the reality is you kind of have to find the blend for both voltages that gives you decent performance. And I think for a 7.4, which arguably a lot more people are comfortable with because it's compatible with more platforms, less wear and tear and things. I think that's a really nice performance out of the box, and because it can be relatively easily upgraded, you don't have to be stuck into a level of performance that you're not, finding as being maximized right out of the box. Problem is, you shoot this and you're like, oh, that's pretty good for a P90, forgetting completely what a TM P90
I mean,
feels
quite
like.
honestly, with all the features that it's going to come with, I already feel like it's worth the price point of, I believe it's $400 is the price point. So it's around that. It's down here.
Something really unique, which we didn't really discuss in our video because we wanted to kind of wait, but I feel like we can tell you is a lot of people will be concerned about like, oh, well, can I put my own MOSFET because I want to do X, Y, Z.
Like a gate titan. Everyone wants to put gate titans in everything nowadays.
Sure. Because of the micro switches in this, you unless you are going to wire it yourself, that's not really feasible. However, if what you're looking for is like the ultimate performance, you want it to go as fast as humanly possible, you can throw a DSG in this out of the box without any modification. And the MOSFET is designed to work with that flawlessly. And so you have incredible rate of fire without having to change any electronics or anything. And because the gearbox is so easy to get to, it's a really simple process. In fact, let me see if
I want to try that. I want to do that now. Now that you said that, because I would rather have the high rate of fire than the Titan's nice, but I have a gate Titan in my 416. I barely use it.
Never touch it.
It's just there. I know that it can do some cool stuff.
Because all you want is the trigger response.
Yeah, most people want that. Like they want a good trigger response, which this has. Anyway, you could heavily customize this trigger to whatever you want your setting to be.
And for its length, the air seal is almost too good. Like the air seal is so good.
Do you cover that in your video?
No. Well, I mean, it's hard to explain. We wanted to build one for Battle Lab, right?
Okay.
And we wanted to run full auto. And Battle Lab has a cool, unique class that allows you to shoot full auto constantly if you're under 300 FPS. So the struggle for us was the air seal's so good, getting it to shoot under 300 FPS was tough. Like it was just like we would change things, and we went down to like an SP75 spring. We were like, okay.
Oh wow.
Like that's the weakest spring we sell.
Yeah.
We're still at 305.
Jeez.
We got to introduce like an air leak or something. So, which is really cool. Like the amount of fields that shoot 300 are few and far between. Low. And honestly, I would just run, if I was going to run this here, I would run the class that allows burst fire and then not worry about it because they're available in 350. But it's kind of a cool problem to have because usually you're trying to find air seal. Yeah. Usually you're struggling to like get things to seal together, and that's just not an issue. Or
you've got one out of the box and you're like, what the hell? Why is my gun shooting 200 feet per second? This is BS. Now, one thing that I think that is on a lot of people's minds is we've got the mega crossover between EMG, KRYTAC, and Cybergun, and of all of the guns that you guys could pick from in that pool of licenses. The P90 was chosen. Yeah. Do you have, can you give us some insight into that?
Yeah. So a little bit of backstory. So we've been working with both KRYTAC and Cybergun kind of independently for quite a while. And we were excited to be doing more interesting and exciting projects and bringing Cybergun and KRYTAC together opened up quite a bit of possibilities in terms of manufacturing quality and performance, as well as unique and exciting licenses. One of the biggest criticisms we see constantly across the board for any licensed product is that the majority of licensed products available in Airsoft are M4s or M4 based platforms. And that's simply because the real world of guns Everybody makes M4s. Like there are 1,000 companies that make M4s, and each one of those is potentially a license that can be transferred into Airsoft. So when we knew that we wanted to bring KRYTAC and Cybergun together and utilize some of Cybergun's really cool licenses, we said, okay, well, what catalog has the coolest variety and something that we could do that breaks from the norm that we think people could use an improvement on in Airsoft? So we looked at the FN lineup, and there are a lot of FN guns, and we could have done any number of FN guns.
Scar H, the Scar Light, but I mean, like there's already a ton
those
of
have already
Scars.
been done to death, and I know a lot of people were like, oh well, there's already a couple P90s. That's true. There are a couple.
Actually,
P90s.
it's okay. So there are a couple P90s. I looked to see like, okay, what's available on the market. Right. There's not like okay, you got the TM and the WE, and good luck finding the TM. Right. It's not really in stock freaking anywhere. Right. And the WE, personally, I don't have that great of experience with WE, so I would be a little hesitant to get that version, even though it is the gas blowback one. But
they're good, but even if it was spectacular, you're still a gas blowback in an AEG world, right? You're still trying to come to an event like this or get a field like this and compete with guys that are 200 round mid caps and high rates of fire. So we looked at the whole gamut, and we were like, look, this is a platform that has been around in Airsoft for quite some time that has never really seen improvement other than little modular accessories that get slapped onto the outside. And we saw an opportunity to really develop a new version of it that was better quality, better performing, that kind of featured a lot of today's modern technology in a vintage platform that a lot of people love but don't own because they've held one and said, it's not really for me. And we wanted to, both change people's minds and offer, kind of something classic and ethereal to the Airsoft market without producing another something that used a Stanag magazine.
So the only thing left to do now is load up and get these babies on the field and play Airsoft with them. So let's jump through the gate and do that.
Yes, which way is the gate?
Some guys to the gate.
This way.
Okay.
We're still connecting the microphone. Just kidding, there's no gate.
The original gameplay portion of this video was supposed to be myself, Node, and Matt playing a modified Trouble in Terrorist Town with a Stargate SG1 theme. The game was really fun and visually exciting because we all had P90s with muzzle flash tracer units. Unfortunately, the lighting inside Battle Lab was darker than expected and all the footage was deemed unusable. So for gameplay, I went with trusty old SC Village in Corona, California. While the brief was going on, I adjusted the hop up. The hop up is working and giving us those nice feedback clicks. Test fire with a hop up kind of test. I got a little bit of wind, but it's shooting fairly straight. Oh, that one was a little wild. Seems like I got a little bit of overhopping.
Everyone just looking for cover.
Woo! Where is he? Oh, there he is, okay. Huh. Just gotta persuade him a little bit more. Got him. Got that guy. Sorry about that. Got that guy. What am I doing on ammo? Oh, definitely time to reload. The Stargate vest is not ideal for quick reloads. But hey, it was worth it for the cosplay. First game with a P90 completed. Pretty happy with the performance. It gets a little squirrely at range, however there is kind of a small breeze. And also, like, this is supposed to be a CQB gun, so
don't really recommend it for long-range outdoor play. I will say the nice compact size was great for here on Supply Depot. All right, we're overhopping a little bit. Let's make a slight adjustment. Get this BB to dip. Pretty sure I hit that guy. There we go, got him that time. There we go. Ooh, that was a headshot. I'm not gonna call it, but that's all right. That should be a headshot. He's down. Let's pop up on 3. Oh wait, let me mag change, hang on. Right. Yeah, I got like 2 BBs left. That would not be a good peek. Yep. Ready? Yep. 3, 2, 1. Hit! Hit!
Which P90 is that?
It's the new KRYTAC one.
Which one?
The new KRYTAC EMG one.
Oh, is the trigger squishy?
Not really. I mean, yes and no. It's because it's like an AUG trigger on full auto. A single, like a squishy pull is semi, and if you go all the way back, it's full auto. So it's like squishy, but like in a good way. But like semi, like.
Ah, yeah. Not can't really do like an M4.
Yeah, but trigger adjustment here, and then if I pop this open, I can also adjust the trigger. So if I wanted to, I can make it like that. Yeah. So this is just like stock out of the box, so I'm just playing with it just as is.
For the content.
Yep. Whoa!
Bang bang!
Bang bang!
I said it first!
You hit somebody else.
Bang bang! And your barrel wasn't pointing.
Hey, let's just parlay. Hey, do you want to just parlay?
This barrel wasn't even pointing at me saying bang bang. I'm like,
Good old bang bang, causing more problems than solving solutions. All right, back in.
Is that the new KRYTAC P90 or?
Yeah,
No. How do you like it?
it's okay. Nothing really spectacular, quite honestly.
Fair enough.
The mags are freaking awesome. Like, that they're see-through, so you can like see as you're dispensing BBs and be like, oh, I'm low, let me reload now.
Can you use it on other P90s the same mag?
Yep,
Or is it
yep.
proprietary? Okay.
Yep.
Because knowing KRYTAC, everything's proprietary, so.
Actually, KWA is more notorious for that.
Okay.
This gun will actually accept the KRYTAC P90 mags, the TM ones. The only one it has a problem with is King Arms, but the King Arms mid-cap's all below anyway, so like, I wouldn't even bother buying a King Arms mid-cap if my life depended on it.
Fair enough.
Are they through this doorway?
They're behind the next building.
Go ahead and move up. You can cover me.
Right here.
Where's right here?
To the right. I got him already.
Okay. Whoop. Get out. Hit! Hit!
Oh, I'm so sorry, Jet.
Oh, that was you? Oh, it's all good. Hey, dude, put your mask down, man.
Sorry.
Is it too fast or I'm not seeing anything come out of it?
What's up?
Is it too fast or I'm not seeing anything come out of it?
No, this BB's coming out. Here, wanna see?
Oh god. It is fast.
Auto cutoff engaged. So I'm out of BBs in that magazine. Put a new mag in, and it'll fire again. Bloop. Does anybody know if they're in the next building?
I seen some dude on second floor.
Okay. Oh, I think that was a hit. Maybe not. Looked like one. All right, do we go for the corner again? Oh, let's see if we can get this guy. Got that guy. Got him. Huh? Second story? Yeah, I got that guy second story. Sorry, he's down. P90 at range, full auto. That auto cutoff is so nice. So it's 200 rounds roughly, fully automatic into that window. Pretty decent grouping. Okay, final thoughts on the KRYTAC EMG Cybergun, fully licensed FN P90. Honestly, it's just good. Not really anything spectacular in terms of like performance. It shot well. Ergonomics were great, especially on Supply Depot, which is a very small field. Like Matt and I were discussing, this is great for CQB or close quarters. So if you are an indoor player, this is probably a gun that you would really enjoy using. That's not an M4 or AR-15. The hop-up did work. I had to adjust the hop-up a couple times on the field to try to give myself some drop shots or a little bit of range. It was nice being able to easily access the hop-up just by pulling back on the charging handle. We've got the nice giant window and the clicking rotary style hop-up with marked numbers. I was at like a 10 and I needed to come down to like an 8, and it's easy to just make those adjustments thanks to the numbered rotary style hop-up. If you're playing in the dust, you want to make sure to keep this hop-up window closed. There was a bunch of times where like dust would kind of fly up into the air, and I don't want to get dust in my hop-up, and because that's going to cause jams. So after you adjust the hop-up, make sure you close that window back up. The number one feature of this entire gun that I love the most isn't even the gun, it's the magazines. The magazines are spectacular. Being able to see through the magazine to see how many BBs you have left in a mag is so nice instead of guessing. Here's a completely empty magazine. I don't know if you can see it, but when there's BBs in there, you could tell. And you can also tell when you're running low. So you know, with this gun set up as it is, you could just glance down. Oh, I've got probably about 10 BBs. I'm gonna make this mega move that's gonna give me like 20 kills and I need more BBs. And you could just by looking at the magazine, know that you need to reload. The other thing that I didn't really find out until after the Battle Lab shoot was there is an auto cutoff with these mags. So let's say you want to do the super realistic mode of 50 BBs in a magazine. Just pop that in, put some iPro on. So once you fire your last BB, the follower's gonna go all the way down, and then it's gonna engage a cutoff and it'll stop shooting. All right, so it's firing. Now I'm gonna put the magazine in, which is empty, and the auto cutoff's gonna kick in, so it won't shoot. So after you fired your last BB, the gun will stop shooting and you'll know it's time to reload. Or you could just, again, simply just look at your magazine and say, oh, it's time to reload. If you are looking for something that is not an M4 and you're an indoor type player or play in areas with lots of close quarters, this is most likely the gun for you. If you're an outdoor player and you want tons of range,
move on to the next thing. And also, if you're already a P90 user and you are looking for magazines, these mags, like Matt said it earlier, they are the best magazines for P90s. And I mean, I don't disagree with that statement. Just finally some innovation in a way that benefits the end user. All right, that's gonna wrap it up for this straight out of the box. As always, this is Jet Desert Fox, and I'll see you on the field.